today's world, chaos is the only certainty. Over the last several years, we have witnessed the impossible occur in global events. The need for families and individuals to not only survive, but to thrive is now greater than ever. Experts the world over have emphasized the importance of generating additional forms of income. In the technologically advanced world we live in today, what if there was a way that we can use technology-powered AI where we can have algorithms do the work for you? Well, thanks to Algo Factory, that is exactly what we did. We teach you not only to leverage the market and carve out profits in the chaos, but we show you how to have a better quality of life by creating your own custom algorithm that trades on your behalf 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. All the while, you can continue with your day-to-day responsibilities, checking in when needed on your trades that is working for you. Many clients of Algo Factory have been able to fund their savings, go on dream vacations, and even quit their 9-to-5 jobs. They have created more time for themselves and more time for their families, all through the power of advanced AI and their personal custom algorithm, Algo Factory. Trade your job, upgrade your life.
All right, folks. It is the one and only John J. Singleton is in the house. He's joining us today. And, folks, you can get a hold of John over at aceofcoins.com. Aceofcoins.com is the place where this man shares all the secrets. And if you need to get a hold of him, you want to consult with him, it's right there on the bottom. And also check out his YouTube channel. The links are in the description box. The description box is right there. The YouTube channel is Privacy Fight, and I'll bring that up as well. Privacy Fight right here on YouTube. You can catch John. He does daily broadcasts over there as well. And with that being said, John, what's up, buddy? How are you?
Hey, good, VJ. Thanks for having me on, man.
Man, it's been a while. I'm excited to have you on. There's a lot to cover. There's some things that are coming down the pike that is on your radar.
Mm-hmm.
One of which got me startled. Okay.
Yeah.
And there's some other, and you got, of course, you being the person that you are, you've got some serious workarounds and solutions for this dragnet that seems to be closing in on us every single day, John.
Well, it's funny because when the feds come up with some new reg or rule or practice or something, most of the time my clients ask me about it and I just say, well, okay, don't change anything. It's not going to affect you.
Right.
Because of how we're already organized. But this time, what you're referring to, this new FinCEN rule for January.
Yeah.
I had to look at that. It took me a few hours and I read all the history on it, the case law, all this stuff. And I said, okay, first of all, it's not even legally enforceable.
Right.
But the reg itself gives you a defense if the FinCEN people or even try to enforce it. And so what I told everybody is I wrote a response to FinCEN, and I said everybody should refuse to comply.
Yeah,
I've never said that before.
Right.
Because it's not even legal. But at the same time, if we send the letter, I mean, if enough people do it, I think they want to implement it in January. And why would they do that? Why not do it now? You know why? They're not ready. And also, I think even though they passed the public comment period and they adopted the reg, I think they realize that people like us are going to wake up and go, wait a minute, you can't do this to people.
Correct.
They want to see again what happens. Yeah.
And for those that don't know, FinCEN is it's the Financial Crimes Network, the investigation arm of the Treasury Department.
Yes.
Typically, when there's some sort of financial crimes occurring or fraud, there's some large case financial issues occurring with firms and and hedge funds and whatnot, or individuals. FinCEN is what investigates you. They get into the nitty gritty. This is an egregious overreach of power and authority. I mean, for them to already when you go to a bank, you and I discussed this before we went live. When you go to a bank and you're trying to open up a business account, the bank wants to, by compliance, by anti-money laundering and KYC regulations, the bank has to know who the beneficial owners of the company are. And that's sufficient. That's fine. But now FinCEN is requiring that they want to know as well. It's egregious, John.
And it's not even when you go open a bank account. It's the fact that you're going to register a company, even if you're a LLC, or even if you register a trust with the state, the Secretary of State, and you're just going to hold title to real estate, and it doesn't need an EIN, and it's not going to file tax returns. The FinCEN still wants to have that little choke point that requires disclosure, and it's all electronic, like it's an electronic portal.
You know what worries me? It's like I'm looking at all the trends that are happening on the market side of things, where things are getting more and more controlled, right?
Mm-hmm.
They want everything and everyone on the list because,
sure.
and the reason
Oh, yeah.
for the list is it's similar to Nazi Germany, where
Yeah.
if you're trying to leave, or if they come, in a financial collapse, they'll just come and take your stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll have right to it. I mean, we're a country that back in 1934 confiscated people's gold, and if they didn't give it up, they went to jail. We're a country where there's civil asset forfeiture, and it is out of control. There's no stop to it, and it's only getting worse. I don't know if you've heard this news, but last year in Beverly Hills, John, there was the FBI raided a private gold vault in Beverly Hills. And this is why I don't like the United States.
Wow.
This is
In
when
Beverly
people,
Hills.
exactly.
Wow.
When people vault precious metals or assets, art, digital assets, whatever the hell it is, and you're keeping it in the United States, you're keeping it in one of the worst jurisdictions on God's green earth, with one of the lowest bank secrecy laws on God's green earth. Dude, $86 million of people's wealth and assets were confiscated, and without recourse, innocent people who have nothing to do with anything. It was the wrong vault, it was the wrong crime, but guess what? It's 2 years later, right, at this point, and the FBI still has not given back any single gold coin, silver coin, piece of art, anything back to anyone.
So that just means there's no rules, V.
There's no rules.
Just no. If they want to play that way, okay, fine, I could do that too.
Yeah.
At some point, man, if they want to keep pushing, people are going to get fed up with it and say, well, okay, then if you took it from me, I'll go take it from you.
Yeah. Right.
You can't hide it from me. I will find out where it is and I will get it.
Yeah.
So that day is coming.
Is the problem. This is the problem, John. This is why it's like, you're one of two guys I know. The other individual is he's right now lurking in the live chat. That's our buddy Bilaj. And you guys are the legal eagles. And I'll tell you right now, it's like very few people are educated in the law, and I think this is one of the things that you talk about. Our other friend, he talks about the same thing. They want you ignorant of the law. They want you thinking that law is something that is only for like the initiated few, like a bunch of wizards in a secret society. Only they are the elect, and only they can interpret the law for you.
Oh, that's why they don't teach law in school, but when you graduate, you're required to comply with the law and know the law. Interesting.
Is that funny? Same thing with finance, right? Those are the two things that they obscure from us.
Exactly. Well, if you guys want to check it out, look online. You search on for the Corporate Transparency Act, okay? Mm-hmm. And they've added a regulation. Now, this regulation is already on the books, and the banks are already collecting during your KYC when you open your bank accounts with your companies. This is under Section 6403 of the Corporate Transparency Act of 2022. It was amended in September, and it's Section 6403. Now, when you look this up and you look under the Federal Register, which I show people how to do this, you just look under the Federal Register, you'll find the implementing regulation for it. And what you'll find out, if you read this thing, you'll find out that basically they're saying, we want to collect your identifying beneficial ownership information from you, regarding your interest in a company that you're registering with the Secretary of State when you register it, in case you might become later a suspect in money laundering or acts of terrorism or something like that. We can then use it against you. So here's the thing. People say, well, that's against the Constitution. Well, wait a minute. There's no criminal investigation. So technically, you don't have a defense for Fifth Amendment. Right. See how clever this is? Mm-hmm. But you do have a defense for privacy, and they are doing it on the pure speculation that they can, first of all, stop money laundering and human trafficking and prevent threats to the United States. Well, this has been the sales pitch since Vietnam, at least. Okay. So has the United States succeeded at that? No. So they don't get another chance. We've given what? 157 chances and they haven't done it and they
Sure.
still want more of our freedoms. So no, you have to first of all prove the risk and then prove you can solve it. That's where we are right now. People have to
Right.
say enough is enough. You don't get to do stuff in the name of national security until you can prove there's a national security risk and you have the competence and ability to eliminate it. And you didn't provoke it in the first place.
Correct. All of which they don't have.
No, of course.
They're good at provoking.
Yeah.
They have no competency in eliminating it, fixing. They have no competency in anything, John.
No, right, exactly. So I approach it two ways. So I have this letter here I put together, and I said basically, "F you, I'm not going to comply." I refuse to comply. In fact, I put in the letter, I said, "I'm going to use every means necessary to conceal my financial transactions." That's what I put in this letter. Okay, so some of you may not want to send this.
Yeah.
I'm sending. I haven't done it yet. It's a 6-pager. Here's the other thing we're doing. We put a lien on all this information they want to collect because it's your biographical data and it's your biometric data, and you have a property right over it. And so we create a security agreement, and then whenever they're going to use it and collect it, it creates a royalty situation. They owe you. It creates a liability on their accounting.
Oh, wow.
So I'm not sure how this will play out yet, but this is my way of dealing with it. We're going to have to start doing stuff like this.
No, we're going to have to get smart. Look, either if you don't, stand up for yourself, you're going to get pushed around. And it's, it's like that old, proverb, my people die for lack of knowledge. That's exactly what's going on in this country, man. You have these bureaucrats, and these are not talented individuals, John. These are not the creme de la creme. We're not dealing with Einsteins here. We're dealing with something that is similar to a DMV clerk. That's what you're dealing with.
Right.
It's incredible.
And that's what I end up telling them. I mean, sometimes it's a lawyer, and lawyers, are educated people, but a lot of times they are kind of stupid.
Yeah.
And I tell them, look, why don't you, after I, berate them about what they did, in the bottom of my little paragraph or letter, I say, why don't you consider getting a job in the real world? Why don't you go out and do something that's productive and actually helps people instead of just billing somebody by the hour because you're incompetent and he doesn't know any better but to hire you.
Exactly.
You're not delivering any value there.
I mean, the fact that they're trying to pierce the corporate veil on some sort of pre-crime.
Exactly. That's what
incredible.
It is, pre-crime. Exactly. So, that's why I have technology, guys. And, somebody's asked me the other day about interaction. He's trying to open a bank account or some of the banks asking for stuff. And I said, you got to change your attitude about answering the bank. First of all, the bank is your supplier. Okay. You don't work for them.
Yeah.
This is not even a customer, right? So if the bank is telling you they need such and such and such, here's what you got to do. Say, well, look, I'm running a corporation. If you want this sort of information from me when I already have an account opened, you're going to need to sign a non-compete, non-disclosure, or at least a non-disclosure agreement, and you're going to have to give me your document retention policy telling me what you're going to do with this data that you're asking me for. And also, you have to respect the fact that some of this information you're asking me for is proprietary, just like information that I would ask from you would be proprietary. I can't get it from you. Even the IRS can't get it from you. So if it's proprietary, don't expect it from me. So this is a totally different way of interacting with the banking system. Instead of saying, please open my account, I'll tell you whatever you want.
Yeah.
That's what I told him. He started laughing. He's like, oh, okay. This is how you have to deal with these creatures.
It's incredible, man. It really is incredible because we need to get real savvy. And we need to understand that these bureaucracies, all they want to do is collect data. They want to collect information, because the more information you give them, the more they are armed in terms of dealing with you and what they can take from you and what they can do to abuse you, versus when you're armed, you are more empowered to deal with them and put them in check, because that's the way this whole government was set up. It's for us to keep them in check.
We are the government.
We are the government, not
we just forgot.
them.
Yeah. Did you guys know that cryptography is listed as a munition on the U.S. military's munitions list?
I've heard of that. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And if it is, why do you think you keep hearing about national security?
Makes sense.
And when you hear this about the CBDC, that's what they're going to be talking about, that for national security.
Yes.
Because they've listed cryptography, which is the basis of everything we're using. It's the basis of your phone, the blockchain, any cryptocurrency. Email, everything has to do with cryptography. So if it's on the U.S. munitions list, and I'll tell you, this is a matter of law. The Congress put it on there. Clinton wrote an executive order 92 to remove it, but that's an executive order. That didn't remove it. It's still there. So that's may answer a few of your questions out there. If you're wondering, what the heck are they talking about national security? Well, cryptography is the same as bullets. as far as they're concerned.
That makes sense because everything is a battlefield, right? Remember the NDAA
Sure.
turned the American homeland into a battlefield. Everything's a battle space. Thus, when you have a battle space and everything is in a constant state of emergency. And that's the crazy thing that they've created with legalese in this country, man. They have transformed the country into a sovereign territory, into a perpetual battle space. It's incredible.
Yeah. Well, look at it this way. What's the first thing you do if you have an enemy in a wartime situation? The first thing you would do to mount an attack, you would do reconnaissance and surveillance.
Correct.
Well, what do you think your smartphone is being used for?
Reconnaissance and surveillance.
Yeah. There's no other reason to have it. I mean, you don't need that technology. It's nice. You don't need it. But yeah, that's what people don't see it, and then they give it to their kids. So they give that children a phone, okay? Children should not have a mobile phone. They should get, until they can afford to get their own when they're over 18 or whatever. And then you tell your child at the same time, don't talk to strangers. But he's got this technology that he can talk to anybody in the world. And he could see anything in the world. And not only that, he could see stuff that happened 100 years ago without limit. That's bad. Yeah. That's abuse or whatever. That's neglect. So just be aware of what's going on, man. We're surrounded by this. Thank you for getting that up here. Yeah. Check it out. This will piss you off. It should. If it doesn't,
this is
egregious. What you get.
This is telling me that, hey, we need to get everybody on a list because when the collapse happens, we need to come for your shit. That's exactly what the translation.
We want to know where it is. Just hold it for us.
Hold it for us.
Later. Right.
You know, the Beverly Hills Vault confiscation was a dry run. Just hold it for us, and we're going to come and take your shit because we did it before, and we'll do it again. And all these, and you know what kills me? I get emails from people. Hey, so and so works at this this doopy brokerage here in the United States that deals in precious metals. They're like, so and so says I should only buy American Eagles for gold and silver. I'm like, why would you do that?
Because that's what he's selling.
That's what he's selling, number one. And number two, American silver Eagles are not even pure silver. Same thing with the gold. They're not pure gold.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're not pure gold or
0.999, right?
They're only 3, not 4 nines.
Okay, well, 4 nines.
4 9 is pure,
yeah,
right?
Okay. Right.
So I was like, why would you get a coin that has the hallmarks of a jurisdictional authority that has the historical evidence and the historical action of confiscating said gold and silver?
Yeah, right, exactly.
This is why I always tell my clients, if you have stuff, don't get it in anything US denominated. It's a big problem. But so-and-so told me to get American Silver Eagles. They're the best things in the world. No, don't.
They will claim it as their own. I mean, you could just get the straight out, ugly coins, bullion without the insignia on there. That's a good idea. Just the bars. I mean, I think I have one right here, actually. Yeah, I do. I have a, what is this? This is 100 grams, right?
Yeah.
And some plastic. But yeah, this is what you want, man. 100-gram little bar.
Yeah, I don't want any hallmarks on my stuff. If I have international hallmarks, if I need to liquidate it, why the hell would I liquidate it here in the United States?
No, right, no. I would take for stuff. Yeah, I used to get the 1 ounce, what do they call them, rounds, and then I had an emblem and a little. I forget what I did. It was years ago, 15 years ago. It was for my whole family. It was like a symbol for my family, and I had that minted on there.
Yeah.
So I was putting my family's emblem on there, but that costs a little bit more. There's a premium on that. It's kind of silliness, but still. Yeah, I mean that makes total sense,
dude. I mean, this is all more confiscation stuff that's coming down the pike. I mean, look, they're moving hard against crypto, right? They've made it very impossible for, they made it very impossible for people to purchase crypto, for them to liquidate crypto.
Yeah,
the KYC process that if you were to get on, Coinbase.
Mm-hmm.
Is next to impossible. You're not making a large purchase. You're not placing a $200,000 order on Coinbase.
Exactly.
You're gonna be waiting around for a few weeks, buddy, for that to happen.
We have to get away from the third parties, and
exactly.
It tells you that this is what we need to be doing more, using crypto coins more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have a way of doing that, John. Here's the other thing that you touched base on. Describe for us, break apart, and show us exactly like. This whole thing about, securitizing your data. Number one, how do we do it? Number two, how do we enforce this is the big question.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Well, first thing you have to describe it. If you can describe property, then you can claim it.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're doing. If my property includes my fingerprint and I can make an image of it and let you use it for something, then I can claim the right to it because you can't. Now, if I
Right.
don't claim the right to it, it's abandoned, isn't it? So all that data, then you guys have no idea what's being collected about what you're doing. And it's just crazy. It would make you really pissed off. But anything you can describe in which you have exclusive rights and it came from you and identifies you can be claimed as your own private property. And so once you describe it, the way you claim it is you create a security agreement between the collector, user, and storer of this information. Like, let's just pick on Google for a second. So Google collects your data, and so you have a claim on that. So Google becomes your debtor. You become the secured party. Now, it is that way now. It's just you haven't said it. You haven't created a legal instrument that does it. There's a body of statutes called the Uniform Commercial Code. Those are adopted into nearly every state's statutes. The UCC is what they call
Yep.
it.
Yep.
Yeah. So from there, you would write up what's called a security agreement, just like a mortgage. It is a mortgage.
Mhm.
Okay. Let's call it this way. Let's call it a licensing agreement. Okay.
Sure.
So a security agreement establishes a legal claim on all the things, all the property that's being collected and used that relates to you.
Right.
And you can impose licensing terms as you would, just like any other intellectual property, like a book or a song you've written or whatever, a video you produced. It's the same thing with your fingerprints, your signature, even the way in which you walk. Okay, if you could describe
Yes.
it,
That's a
yeah,
biomarker. That is an actual
yeah,
biomarker.
it's a
Correct.
biometric, yeah, data or marker or
Yes.
something like that.
Mhm.
Now, even your histological examples like blood and DNA and all these things can be described, and then you can make a claim on them. And now here's what I'm thinking of. So that's the way to do it. You create a security agreement once you describe the property. Okay, now the second part of what you're asking is how do I enforce it? Well, there's two ways this plays out that I can see right now. And I haven't done this yet. It has been used for centuries. We just
Mhm.
haven't used it for this yet. Is you simply record the lien. It goes with the county recorder's office, just like a mortgage is recorded against your house, and or it gets recorded with the Secretary of State for your state. And there's a place where those records are collected and published, and you can go find it yourself. Then you record it possibly with the United States or any other jurisdiction that's going to have to do with enforcing a claim of that nature in the court system, maybe. Now, in that security agreement, by the way, I make it to where the debtor does not have access to the court nor a jury trial, the same shit they do to us.
Yeah.
I made them, and this is another subject we could talk about, but so that's all in there. So once you record this lien, and it's a perfected security interest, okay? It will show up on the debtor's balance sheet. It might take another quarter to show up. It might take 2 quarters to show up,
Mhm.
like 3 to 6 months from now.
Yeah.
But it's going to show up as a liability.
Mm.
It would be like Google borrowing several $100s from you every few months and not paying you back yet. And it would show up like that in their accounting records. So the longer you wait and the more people that do this, the more liability builds up to some point where some account says, what the heck is this?
Sure. Exactly.
And how does that affect their insurance and their investors?
Big
It
time.
does.
It will send shockwaves.
Oh, yeah.
They would crap
Oh,
their
yeah.
pants.
At some point, there's going to be a threshold where the investor says, "Screw this, man! I'm gonna go buy the restaurant in my neighborhood." you know. So that is what I'm thinking. That is how it really is effective for our purposes. What are our purposes? I don't know. Maybe we don't want our data to be used that way anymore unless we get paid for it. I mean, Muhammad Ali. I liked using his example. He sold his likeness. Now, this guy, of course, he had a likeness. I mean, we probably don't. I mean,
No,
who cares what I look? Who cares what I'm going to say? Who's going to quote me forever? But Muhammad Ali, fly like a butterfly, sting like a bee, right?
I'm so pretty.
I'm so pretty. So
I
in
can't possibly be
2004, he was still hanging in there. He sold his likeness. He sold 80% of it for $50 million. And he set up an LLC to own the other 20%, which is still around. It's called GOAT LLC, GOAT, greatest
nice of all
of all
time.
time, greatest of all time. Yeah.
The GOAT.
So yeah, I'm not too up on those things, but anyways, so that's him. But so that he died recently, and I'm sure his likeness might be worth a heck of a lot more. I don't know who had what use for that. I'm sure someone made a
I
profit
mean,
at it or
there
still
is. I mean, you got to understand. I mean,
Yeah.
Ali's likeness has been used in video games, boxing video games, by
Okay.
Electronic Arts. So those
right?
royalties are definitely paid out to that estate and to whatever that LLC is. Absolutely correct. Yeah.
So it's nothing new.
Every
I didn't invent
film.
this.
Yeah.
I'm just copying other people doing it. I swear I did not. I cannot invent any of this stuff. So you're probably sitting there going, "This guy's crazy. What is he making up all this stuff?" No,
No, it's true. I mean,
actually
Bill
it's the
just
underpinnings of our economy.
yeah.
Do you guys even know where Disney World gets the right to have a story on Snow White? Someone wrote that
Somebody
story.
wrote that. Yeah, same thing. Disney did not write Snow White. They didn't write
No.
Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast. These are all existing stories. Pinocchio. These are all existing stories. So where the hell did they get the right to have this?
You had the Brothers Grimm and all these guys that wrote
Yeah,
fairy
that
tales.
really wrote it, right?
Yeah, and they're gone, and those copyrights expire after 50 years or so, or 35 years,
Mhm.
and so they're up for the grabs, right? That's why you're starting to see now. I'm dating myself, right? So I'm just saying, you're gonna know how old I am. But if I'm hearing songs that I heard in the 70s sung by totally different people, only because the copyrights have expired.
Got it. Yeah,
They don't
that
have to
makes
pay
sense.
royalties now.
Right.
So just be aware of this sort of thing. We have this right in front of ourselves. Okay, we can use this. And I don't know if you want me to touch on that idea. So how do you enforce it now? I can foreclose upon my interest. Also, I could record it and passively just sit back and watch the fireworks, or I can go into a court and I can foreclose upon a default condition in the security agreement. The security agreement gives me a cause of action. Now, the security agreement is the law. Don't
Mhm.
ask me what law lets me do this. The
Mhm.
security agreement lets me do this.
Right.
And so if I could, maybe this is a slightly different subject, but I'm showing people right now, and I've just done this from my 91 acres here in Florida. I put an HOA covenant on the property.
Mhm.
And I told the tax collector, I'm not going to pay any property taxes. So here's what happens. I'm going to tell you what, I did this one other
You're
time.
so mischievous.
I
I love
did this.
you, man.
I did this one other time by chance, and I know this is why I know it works. So I beat a foreclosure with this method, okay,
Right.
by chance. But anyways,
Mhm.
this time I'm doing it deliberately. So if for some reason they go through the process, they assess the tax, and they go and they foreclose a couple of years from now, which is only a small amount of money. It's a few $100 or something, but it's a point. This goes also for city fines and county ordinances and all this nonsense. Okay, building codes. Which, by the way, guys, I'm all for building codes for safety,
Sure.
but I'm not going to be abused by them. So this is another reason why I'm doing it, not to just get out of the system, but I want to show people, okay, so if property gets foreclosed upon and it goes for auction, let's just say it goes for auction, and the investor looks at the listing and says, oh, heck, there's an HOA on there. Oh, there's an impact fee, and there's quarterly dues. I made it to where it would be more expensive to pay the dues than to actually buy the property at the retail price. It doesn't make any sense, in other words.
Okay.
And if I did nothing and someone got the title to the property from a tax lien foreclosure, he would owe me a huge amount of money, because of the way the assessments are set up, because the HOA covenant is a lien that is never expired. The property tax is expired. It's exhausted once you foreclose on the property, like a mortgage and a mechanics lien. Once you foreclose on those liens, all those become exhausted and cannot be foreclosed upon again until a new debt comes up. Well, the HOA covenant is forever perpetual. It doesn't get exhausted. So I just sit back and be the last one having a lien right. Be the last one. And when the smoke clears, I just go and take the property back.
That's right. I remember we've done this for a client of mine years ago, John. If you remember, this was with a commercial real estate.
Okay, we probably did. Gosh, I forget. Okay, so maybe that's two. But
oh my God,
we get the last laugh.
The
right?
lawyers just stood around wondering, all right, we're going to foreclose on this, and all of a sudden they see the title go to a corporation that you created for the client,
and they can't get around it. They can't get around it because no matter what the law says, the covenant is the law of the property, and it's outside of the mortgage. It's outside. The bank can't say anything about it. It's not a fraudulent conveyance. I mean, and I've got a case right now, guys. You'll be interested in this. I've got a case right now where this guy kind of screwed up. He'll even tell you. He tried to title his property all different ways, and then he didn't file tax returns, and then he sent all these nasty letters to the IRS saying, "F you, I'm not going to pay." And so, what do you think they did?
They showed up.
Yeah, they got the DOJ to sue him. Well,
right.
You would think the IRS can just take your stuff. No, it's not that easy.
No.
In a situation like that, they actually have to go get permission from the district court judge.
Right.
So, and they probably will get it.
Mhm.
So they're suing him right now, and they said in the pleading, we want his house because
Mhm.
he's cheating us, So we put this clean and clear property already. He had a mortgage and all this stuff. So we put an HOA. We put his house under an HOA covenant. He and his neighbor.
Mhm.
So now there's 2 parcels in an HOA. You can do it for 1 parcel, by the way. We
Sure.
did it for 2 parcels. So the smoke will clear next year, sometime late next year, and we're fighting him in court. We're trying to make him prove stuff. We countersued him, all this stuff. We're trying to say, where's the assessment? There's no debt here. But in the end, the district court's going to give him the judgment, but he will not lose his property.
Correct. That's the whole. That's the game. And this is what you and I have been trying to educate, especially the clients that you and I were working with, and the clients that I've sent to you. And you've worked with thousands of my clients at this point. Yeah. One of the things we always tell people: this is a friggin' game. This is a game.
Just learn how to play
it. I remember the first time I started working with you, John. Like I don't know how many years ago, like 5 years ago or 6 years ago. I think 7 years ago at this point, right?
Yeah.
And I remember my first letter that I gotten from some official governmental bureaucratic source, right? And I'm like, John, what do I do? He's like, V. You're like, VJ, it's just letters on a page, man. That's all it is. It's just letters on a piece of paper.
Yeah, it's a piece of paper, right?
That's all it is. And I looked at it, and all of a sudden, it's like that epiphany went off in my brain. I'm like, holy shit, he's right.
Right.
It's just nothing but a bunch of letters on a piece of paper. I crumpled it up.
Yeah.
Threw it in the wastebasket.
Sometimes you can do that. Right.
Yep. I threw it in the wastebasket. I'm like, John, let's go have some fun with these
assholes.
And that's exactly
and
what we
you
did.
show other people, then they're not afraid. And this is what I realized in the 90s. So in the 90s, I was new. I was learning the stuff from my partner. He was teaching me. And I'm watching all these people get their stuff taken from the IRS. And they're saying, I have this trust and all this stuff. And it didn't work. And the IRS took all their stuff. Well, because they didn't know what they were doing. And I thought, okay, what's the common denominator with all these people? They're getting annihilated by the IRS, and some maybe rightfully, I hate to say, but others didn't deserve it. And what the common denominator was is that they all had stuff. So I thought, okay, well, what's the solution? Argue with the IRS? No. Pay an attorney to defend myself? No. Go to tax court? No. Just don't have the stuff. I don't actually need the stuff. I just want to use the stuff. I want to use a house. I want to use a boat. I want to use cash.
Yep.
I just don't want the liability for it. So
correct.
I started learning how to write contracts and change property rights using corporations and contracts and insurance even to avoid the liability. And that's worked ever since. No matter what the laws are, it's always worked.
Yep. Exactly correct. Exactly. Because again, they can't shut off their own loopholes. They can't close their own loopholes.
And I don't have to argue with them. If you argue with them, you already lost.
Correct. This is what this is the old David Rockefeller adage: own nothing but control everything.
Yeah. Hey, can we mention that we're talking about just before?
Whatever you want to do, man.
People might like this. Okay, so you're watching all these bankruptcies get filed, and maybe it's entertaining for you. I don't know. It's curious for me. We're probably like, I look at it like, what the heck? How can I benefit from this? Because I
you're talking about Bed Bath & Beyond that just went.
I was just gonna say,
yeah,
I like that store. I mean, I try not to go there because I want to buy everything in there. Like, yeah, I need.
I'll be honest with you. I do like Bed Bath & Beyond. When I go in there, I head right over to the appliances. I check out the new coffee machines, toasters, air fryers. See what's new, man.
And I definitely don't let my wife go in there. But
no, that's a dangerous thing, my friend. That's a dangerous thing.
But now that it's in bankruptcy court, and there is a process by which you can acquire the things, the chattel, the appliances, the products that were in the company that were sitting in a warehouse somewhere, and they're still in the warehouse. It's now in the custody of the trustee of the bankruptcy court. So you can actually go to the trustee and say, hey, can I buy that? You ever hear this 10 cents on the dollar nonsense?
Sure.
It's not always like that, but you can. Now, it does take there's a bit of work there, and you probably need a little bit of cash. I would say if you had $10,000 that you wouldn't care if you lost it, not that you would lose the money, it's just $10,000 that could just sit out there or more. Okay, this is something you might want to consider doing. And if you're looking at, I need to park $500,000 somewhere. I've talked to people that just cleared out their 401k, whatever, and they're like, what do I do with $137,000? Okay, well, get it into something like you can buy these things. It's not hard to buy the things. You could do it. You probably need an attorney, not a bankruptcy attorney. It's got to be an attorney that deals with this types of process. It's called a 363 purchase. It's a 363 purchase in Chapter 11 from bankrupt companies. You have to make a reasonable offer, and there's a strategy in that, all this stuff. I'm not going to get into all that. Now, here's the thing. You can buy the stuff. Just have a way to sell it. You want to sell it as quickly as possible. And there are ways of doing this on eBay and Shopify and so forth. Now, just keep in mind, there's a trend right now of everybody's trying to sell his stuff because he's trying to pay his rent. He's trying to get rid of that second car. So just be aware that the market's flooded right now with consumers selling their stuff they never needed.
We had a lot of stimulus ballers, John. A lot of the stimulus ballers
we have,
who went out there and got like $750 a month car payments, and now they can't afford the car because they're upside down in it, and it's being repoed left and right. So he's ditching everything right now.
Yeah, and be aware on the car thing too. From what I understand, when Lucky Lopez, I think, is the guy I follow.
Lucky's great. I love
Lucky's great. He'll tell you the square deal, man. He'll tell you his trade secrets. But he was saying that these companies, these lenders, are trying to work deals out where they don't take the car back because, in fact, not even report it on your credit because it's going to adversely impact their investments.
Correct.
Their investors.
Oh yeah, big time. Because everybody is beholden to somebody.
Yeah.
Including the lenders.
Right.
Because it's all it's a massive market, and it's all a massive daisy chain, because there's all sorts of collateralized debt that's involved in this, all sorts of financial vehicles, all sorts of derivatives that are dependent upon these loans.
Oh yeah.
People don't realize when you have these bank failures, when you have everybody defaulting on auto loans, that's going to set off a daisy chain of derivative bombs going off in the entire financial system. And that's something that they're terrified of. So they don't want this on the books. They'd rather settle it with you at this point, just have the car repoed and not report it or something like that, or work out some sort of arrangement with you.
Yeah. Start looking at this stuff and also realize people are keeping their cars longer and they need replacement parts. So if you're able to acquire vehicles or parts, maybe you have a way to store them correctly, not in your front yard somewhere. I mean, or flip them or do something. I mean, or scan them. What the heck, man? Scan the parts and have the data that you can just print new parts with a 3D printer. Absolutely. So all that's going on. But check out the 363 offers to buy things out of Chapter 11 bankruptcy for a way to get lower price, maybe really low priced things. Yeah. Like crates of the same thing I could sell for 5 times what I paid for it. If you already have an eBay account, that might be something to look at.
Yeah. And then eBay has that thing, thanks to the Biden administration, that we have to what is it? They report on anything over $599. Because
whatever. I mean,
because they're trying to catch rich people, John, because they know rich people have $600 transactions.
It's only the rich people.
Yeah, it's only rich people that have $600 transactions.
See, this is what I use companies for everything. Money moves around me. I never have a gain. Yeah. I mean, but it's funny if you don't know that. If you don't know that, well, then you're like thinking, oh, I'm going to get a 1099. What do I do now? Oh, go to my accountant. Yeah, your accountant will sell you out.
Yeah, of course. I love going to the accountant. Well, here's the deal, VJ. The speed limit is 65. I like to go 67. Exactly. I'm like, you're not saving me much money, buddy.
Exactly. So yeah. But so there's I don't know if there's one thing that I think what I really would like to do, VJ, is our next call. In fact, what I would like to do is consider maybe we do an intro, right, to promote something and do like a podcast with only the people that are willing to, join
I think it's time it's about time we do another strategic life conference, man.
And the thing is, when we do that, it's going to be a paid one. I think it should be like, I think they should feel like they got way more out of it than what they paid. Yep. I think it should be showing them what they can actually do, like right now. And I'm gonna give you a hint. I just picked one now. This is a plan that you can replace the product. I'm just gonna pick this product, and I'm just thinking e-bikes as a product.
Yeah.
I'm just seeing them all around, and I don't see any dealerships. There's one in my area in Orlando here. I think I could do a better job than that guy. I have never met him, so I'm just saying, e-bikes. I'm thinking of creating a business plan and putting together my suppliers, my marketing plan, and all these things. But I'm going to add a little bit of spice in there. And I'm going to develop a business plan with all these components using the artificial intelligence application online.
Ooh.
Just to show you that it can be done.
Nice. Nice. The sinister laugh.
Now's the time to start looking at that AI. And I sound like a hypocrite. One of you out there, one of my clients is saying, John, you should be doing what I'm doing. And he starts telling me all this stuff about how he's using AI, and he's not even hiring new people. All he has to do is go to the AI and have him do it.
Yep.
So anyways, I'm learning. Okay. He kind of shamed me into it. In some of the work I do, we have to write these legal briefs, right? So one of the guys on my team, he did this, not me. He figured out how to get the AI to actually write the opposing brief.
No way.
We take the attorney's brief, we feed it into the AI,
Right.
and it gives us the opposing brief now.
Lawyers are doomed. Lawyers are doomed.
We pitted the lawyers against the AI.
Oh.
Yeah. Now, just so you guys know, these are cases about the fake public health emergency.
Sure.
Okay. That's what they're having to deal with now. And it's coming up in about a month. We're going to have it. We just did the first one and we're like, oh shit, man, this is not only as good as, I mean, I thought I was good at writing a brief. I'm pretty good at writing a brief. But when I throw the AI in there, it's more. It's like more detail. It already said what I said, but it said more.
Wow. Dude, this is going to crush a lot of legal careers.
Oh, they're gone. Oh, lawyers are gone in 10 years.
Yeah.
Lawyers are gone.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if you're a lawyer, you guys are hearing this, but look, you really should get a job in the real world.
Yeah.
Being a lawyer, you know, look, seriously, I mean, I'm an entrepreneur, but you know, I do things that, you know, people would say that's a lawyer, but I look like this. Because I know how to cut my grass, that doesn't mean I need to be a professional grass cutter.
Correct.
I'm gonna be a professional. I'm gonna run a restaurant or something. I'm gonna go make something. I'm gonna manufacture something.
Right.
But just because you know the law, I mean, everybody's supposed to know the law. Why are you special? Why do you get to charge a few $100 an hour?
Exactly.
We're all supposed to know the dang law. So it's not special. So they're on their way out.
They are on their way out. And if we get our way, banking would be on the way out as well. That'll be the next thing.
It is. We just have to.
I mean, it's fighting. It's fighting hard. It's fighting hard to squeeze us. But you know, it's like we have all the technology in the world right now. We don't need these a-holes whatsoever. We don't need them at all.
We can ignore them
legally or even financially. We do not need them. They are obsolete. Unbelievable, man.
It gets deep, man. But there's more we could talk about. But I really like just describing this to people and just check it out. You know, there's opportunity you can't imagine. Just check it out.
John, anything else that's on your radar?
No, I just just what we just talked about here. This is what's playing out this year. I mean, so we're gonna start firing away all these security agreements, and maybe we'll have some news on that in a few months. Yeah, you might even see some things in the news.
Yeah, absolutely. John, you and I. Okay, so let's do this, folks. Go to Ace of Coins. You want to get a hold of John? Just go all the way to the bottom. It says right there. You could book ahead. Okay, you could join his Telegram group. You can join his YouTube right there. Links are in the description box. John and I are going to be doing a Strategic Life seminar very soon, and we will announce it, and we will have a way for you to pay for it, and we're going to go to the soup to nuts, man. Everything from business setup, opportunity setup, bank account setup, make you bulletproof.
Show you how to get your customers, how to present it,
Oh, nothing but control everything.
Yeah, and all you have to do is send like a lot of gold to an address that VJ is going to give you.
That's it.
Just send the gold there.
Not American Eagles. I won't take American Eagles.
Would you actually send those back if somebody sent you an American Eagle?
I would send them back.
Really?
It's liable, dude. It's like
okay. I would keep it, but okay.
I would melt it down.
Okay, maybe
I'll melt it down and I'll recast it. I'll make it a gorilla coin. I don't want Eagles. It's a liability, man.
You got to take your profits once in a while, okay? My landlord raised the rent $500. Okay, it took 2 rent raises in a 1-year period. And I was happy with that. I said, please go ahead. I understand. I mean, and they're still breaking even. Okay, so I'm good. But here's what I did. So because I buy gold and silver and all this stuff, I don't just sit on it like Gollum, you know, in The Hobbit.
Precious.
I took out a bar of gold and I sold it and I made a bunch of money off of it because when I bought it, it was really low and now it's really high, you know. And then I paid the rent for the year with that part of that. And so really the rent went up on paper, but I still paid the same that I've been paying for since I moved in here 6 or 7 years ago. Mm-hmm. This is the kind of thing, it's a small number, but heck, I mean, this is how you want to think. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a little more cash flow, whatever. I'm going to funnel some more cash flow back into and leverage my way back into some gold, maybe, you know, maybe buy half of it back or something like that. But that's the kind of way you want to think about this stuff, not just hoard it forever.
Absolutely. John, thank you so much for joining us today. Folks who are asking questions about the links, if you're watching us on Twitch or other platforms, there's no description box in Twitch. You'll see it in like YouTube, and this will be on Rumble. And of course, the roguenews.com website, it'll be there as well. So that's where you get all the info. And of course, Facebook as well has the links. And with that being said, John, thank you so much, man. We'll collaborate, folks. Keep it locked and loaded right here. Subscribe, like, comment, share. And we will keep you posted, especially on the Discord. If you need to join the Discord, I'll put the link in the description box for that. Or email me, v@roguenews.com, and I will send you the link to the Discord. And we'll make all the announcements on Discord, on YouTube, on everywhere else, so you will know in advance when John and myself will be, doing this seminar, so you guys can join. All right, folks. Thank you all for listening in. Matthew Ehret at 2 p.m. today. Matthew Ehret at 2 p.m. Cheers, everyone.